and I haven't been playing any YouTube games, you know, since I got out of the hospital. I've been on. I've been in the hospital because I found out I had two clots in my heart and I had a clot in my ankle. Um, so I had to get rid of that. So I was in the hospital for a couple of days. Been sick, like mad, crazy. Now I'm home, trying to get myself back together. I missed the Eagles and the Bears game because I was so sick. I forgot the game was on, and it was on Black Friday, and I forgot. Then on top of that, I didn't know the Eagles playing until Monday, and then I looked at the schedule for the Eagles. Like, God damn, Eagles, like, at least they get a rest. They play tonight. At least I won't miss that game. I'm going to be really disappointed if they lose, but not really upset too much to say, well, the season's over, because I believe they can actually make the playoffs and make a run. But I believe this is the Eagles' last chance because the Eagles are just, we could blame the offense. The offense is barely, healthy. It's the defense that's injured. You know, um, we could take all these last games, that we won and we won by close margins. Um, we celebrated because we think we're the best team in the world and because we won a Super Bowl. But we got to understand, we won a Super Bowl in 2017. This is my trophy right here from that one right. This is from 2017. And then, we made the playoffs against New Orleans and we lost. Because you remember in the beginning of the season, Foles and Wentz was going back and forth because Foles got hurt and Wentz came back and people booed Wentz. And then Wentz had a good game against, I forgot who they, others, Washington, I guess. And then he got hurt. And then, Foles came back. And the Eagles were up and down, but they made the playoffs. They beat the Bears in the first round of playoffs. And then they went to play New Orleans in the second round and ended up losing because of Jefferson, my fault, Jeffries dropped the wide open. Well, he didn't drop the wide open pass. I think it was thrown behind him from Foles, and they had opportunity to win the game, but he dropped the ball. The game was over. New Orleans went and lose, and then it's a championship. Um, so I'm and I'm taking it as the Eagles also when they lost to Kansas City, they went on a winning streak the following year to beat Kansas City, to beat Buffalo, and then when they played the 49ers, they just lost. They got blown out, and they lost that game, and they just went downhill. The Eagles are doing basically the same thing because they went through an offensive, defensive, back and forth thing too. So look at the Eagles now. Uh, I think the Eagles team this year is probably better than that 2018 team. That the Eagles went to the playoffs and lost to New Orleans. I just think the Eagles right now just need to get Barkley involved. The Eagles could unless Barkley breaks out in the playoffs and average over 200 yards a game, the Eagles are not going to win anything for the rest of the season if Barkley doesn't get himself together. Like, I understand the offensive line is not the same from last year because we lost a lot of offensive linemen, lost a lot of defensive linemen, we lost our safety, we lost our corner. Slay was supposed to come back. We don't know. Uh, we getting all these new pieces, but they haven't played long. Um, Hurts has only threw. I think he only thrown two interceptions. I think, and that's good. But you're not anywhere in a I think in a top 10 or top 20 in passing. That hurts because Hurts is not really averaging like he's really 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 great at protecting the football. He's been doing it probably his whole career. He's been protecting the football. He might be a lot of McNabb in that sense of protecting the football. Don't want to throw it in bad don't want to throw it in situations like a Burrow would do, or Allen would do, or Jackson would do, or a Love, or old ass Rodgers. I was watching Rodgers, and I believe Rodgers is still one of the best quarterbacks I ever seen that ever played the game, and he's like 40 years old. Um, but Hurts is still young, and I understand that he has a lot of confidence but he needs to start being more vocal. I don't know if he's vocal on the field or on the sideline because I look at him, he's always sitting by himself or he's sitting with the coordinator. I know he gives high fives to his office court, his offensive linemen when they score, or he'll tell the defense, okay, it's y'all turn, win the game for us, get the ball back for us. I see him doing that sometimes, but he needs to start getting more interactive with, you know, um, you know, just just with his running back. Like because I believe that he could turn on he could turn on Barkley. Barkley is a downhill runner, and everybody will think, "Oh no, he's a speed back, he's a scat back." No, he's a downhill runner, and I know they want to use the draw all the time, and they need to get out of that shotgun. I'm getting sick and tired of that shotgun, and sometimes I think the Eagles need to start with a fullback. I think the Eagles need to start with a fullback, like old school, and that I think that will help Barkley. I know it didn't do it for Barry Sanders. Back Barry Sanders was playing. Barry Sanders got a fullback. He hated it so much, and he wanted to get rid of the fullback, and he was always a run back runner. Why don't they ever do pro set? Not pro set. My fault. Why don't they do single back? And they do single back, but they doing a shotgun. I don't like shotgun. I hate shotgun. I think shotgun is a good only on fourth down because you want to spread the defense out. You want to see what this defense is doing. They want to play prevent. They want to play quarter. They want to play a defense that's going to stop you from getting the first down because it's third down. So they want to try to stop you from getting the first down or getting close to the first down marker. I understand that, but the Eagles need to start doing is started. I know they're getting under center and they're doing pro set, but they're doing my fault. They're doing single backs. But sometimes the Eagles, they know that the defensive line is playing a lot of gap responsibility. And the linebackers are going to press because they're going to come closer to the line of scrimmage. They're going to bring that safety down because they're going to bring the safety down because they know the Eagles receivers are going to have probably routes are probably going to be a lot longer than, you know, if they get a play action, it's not going to fool. You're not going to fool a defense with a play action if you're not getting the run started. If you're not getting over what at least about 30 yards, the defense ain't going to care about, oh, okay, oh, we're going to care about the run, no, we're going to care about the receivers. Like, we're going to care about them. No, they're not caring about the receivers. They're going to only care about stopping the run. And they're going to force Jalen Hurts to beat them by himself. That means throwing the ball, like staying in the pocket and throwing the ball. Now, Hurts can run the ball if he really wants to, but I think Hurts doesn't run the ball that much because he wants to get his receivers involved. And sometimes I'll be thinking the coach will be telling him, like, man, you need to calm down before you get yourself hurt. But for me, I think the Eagles need to get Barkley started because you see in every single game, Barkley doesn't really get a chance, to get, started. You know what I mean? And I know the first thing the Eagles do is throw the ball. And I hate when the Eagles do that. First down, they throw the ball. Then they'll wait until like at least about, they get like third and four. Okay, we're gonna run the ball. No, you should run the ball. Like they even in the second half, even when you're losing, you need the. This is not John Madden, and this is the reason why I hate football today, because they play these games like it's John Madden. Like these coaches coach games like John Madden, and I'm sick and tired of, they're using the video game, way strategy of playing football. Like run the football because see, I was born in the '70s and I grew up in the '80s, and I've been a football fan ever since 1980. I've been an Eagle fan ever since 1980. I've been a football fan ever since the '90s. So I've been a huge NFL football fan. So I watched all Super Bowls. I watched every single playoff game. Even my team was even in the playoffs. The Eagles was in the playoffs a lot back in the they were in the playoffs in the '90s, but they started they were just bad. But when the Eagles were starting to win and seeing the Eagles in the playoffs, and then starting to see the NFL starting to develop and making more and more and more money and more good players coming into the league, and the Eagles gotten better and better and better and started winning championships, and then they get to the Super Bowl, which is very hard to do. Which people think that the Eagles, us Eagle fans, we think the Eagles need to go. We think the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl every freaking year, knowing that's not true. And am I thinking the Eagles going to make the Super Bowl this year? No, I don't think the Eagles going to make the Super Bowl. If the Eagles do make the Super Bowl, I think they will lose in the Super Bowl. And the team I think they will play in the Super Bowl will be Buffalo. Because I think the Eagles they're gonna want to see that matchup. I think they already wanted to see that matchup. I really didn't want. I think they didn't want Kansas City in the Super Bowl, but when the Buffalo didn't get that first down because they opened the door getting Buffalo that first down last year. They're like, okay, you get this first down, y'all win this game. They didn't get the first down. Like then after that, you like, okay, well, since y'all didn't get that first down, y'all want it that bad, we might as well just give it to Kansas City and let them go back to the Super Bowl and see if they can win it again. So when the Eagles played them and beat them, that should have been Buffalo and Philadelphia in the Super Bowl, not Kansas City and the Eagles. And you should see that first down that the first down that Allen tried off on the tush push, he did get a first down, but they didn't give it to him. The second time they did it, he got it again, but they didn't want to give it to him. So I'm like, okay, maybe they don't want Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl. But I really think it should have been Buffalo and Philadelphia. But I believe that it will be Buffalo and Philadelphia this year. If the Eagles make it past the Lions, make it past Green Bay, you know, make it past, Tampa Bay, um, and the Bears. Okay, they got the Bears. I think the Bears are number one seed now. Um, so to me, the Eagles to win tonight because they got the Chargers, and the Chargers are a real good team. They got one of my favorite coaches of all time, of Harbaugh. Um, I think the Eagles probably can beat the Chargers a lot. So, but this is gonna be a different time for Herbert. Herbert's a real good quarterback. So, I believe that if the Eagles can't stop the run, the Eagles are not going to win this game. And I don't think the defense is going to be able to. The offense is going to be able to keep up with the Chargers' offense because the Eagles' offense is supposed to be high flying. What I mean, get the ball running, and then you start throwing these slants, these over routes, these choice routes, and you do all these things that it could confuse the defense. But the Eagles can't confuse the defense worth shit. They know that if you're going to do the same plays over and over again and not change up your offense, like the Eagles last year, the Eagles changed their offense around. Eagles were running the ball. Eagles were, full in the defense. Barkley was making some catches. They got Dotson in there. They really pushed the envelope of winning a championship. They were really on a roll of winning a championship. This year, it looks like, okay, we won a Super Bowl, so what? This is what it looked like to me because, like I said, I've been an Eagle fan for so long that when you watch your team, this could be anybody that's a football fan that watches their team and they watch their team play like trash. I mean, watch their team like they don't want to win. Like they get to the championship, and next thing you know, they're not New England. Okay, New England was always there because they pushed themselves to get there every year. Just like the 49ers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay Packers, all these teams that played in the championship games always pushed themselves to get there. I mean, even when Miami went undefeated, they almost went undefeated the next year. And I mean that team of the next year in 70 and the next team after 76 73 team was better than 72 team. That's why, well, 74. They'll say 74. But that team was better. The 74 team was better than 73 team because that's how they say it. But look at the Eagles team. The Eagles, they always make mistakes. And I always believe in all season they make mistakes. It's like they let these players go, thinking that they can just glue them back together with the players they already have, and they don't have no depth. And when they start getting injuries, they can't put nobody in the position to succeed or help the team win because you have a lot of young players. It's good to have young players. Yes, get a lot of good young players, but also get some players that are older, like they've been in the league a lot longer. I mean, or for a few more years that can help a team win. The Eagles don't do that. Eagles just, I think sometimes they're a little greedy when it comes to signing players because they could have got Jefferson. They could have traded for Jefferson. They could have traded for they still to this day they could have got Garrett. They could have got Garrett from the Browns. And I still look at it like this man is playing on one of the worst teams in NFL history, and this man is still just sitting back making money. And I think he wants to win, and I believe that Garrett want to win. I just think that he's sitting back and making money. These are the players that can help you win. They could have got Watt. They could have got T.J. Watt. They could have traded for him. They could have got Crosby. They could have got Hutchinson. You know what I mean? They could have got some. They could have got a lot. They could have got Queen. They could have got some good corners too. They could have got. They could have got Gardner back. The Eagles know they could have get these players back, but they don't want to go over. They want to save money, and this is what the Eagles do every year. And this is what I mean when they win or they make the playoffs, everybody knows that they want this player, so they'll probably lose a couple of games to try to get that good draft pick to go and get the player that they want in the draft. Because that's what they did when they got Carter. That's what they did when they got Davis. That's what they did when they got Rango. They got all these players that they knew how to get draft picks and they knew they could fall getting these players. They could have got Sanders this year. What's his name? Son, Deion Sanders' son. They could have got him this year. They could have got a lot of good players. They could have got a good couple of running backs this year. I love Barkley. They could have kept Gainwell. They could have re-signed Gainwell back, but they didn't re-sign Gainwell back. So now you got what's his name? He's hurt. Dylan, he hurt. So you don't have him. You know, he's hurt. So who else do you have? Who else you have as a backup running back? If Barkley goes down, it's over with. If Barkley go, if everybody loves McKee, but can he play with the starters? Like actually play with the starters for the rest of the season? I know everybody said, "Well, look at Foles. Foles was a starting quarterback for the Eagles. Like he was an actual starting quarterback. He was drafted as a quarterback, starting quarterback, and he played. He went 27-7 one time. Okay, so he was like one of the top MVPs, and he got traded the following year. So I think that you need a backup quarterback, and I know they could have traded McKee and got some not just draft picks, got some players. I'm getting sick and tired of draft picks. I'm sick of draft picks because sometimes you can't use draft picks to get players, so you have to use them to get draft picks, and I don't want to get. I want to get players. You want to win with teams that are built to win now. Eagles are built to win now again. Now this team can fall apart in the next few years, and be the team that used to win championships. And you can see look at the New England Patriots. Look at the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are starting to win again. I think they're 10-2. Like they're starting to win again. They got a new coach. They got a young quarterback. He's winning games now. I mean, you got the Bears are winning games with a young quarterback. And you still got Love. He's winning games. And he's a young quarterback. And I like her. I love Hurts. Hurts is one of my favorite quarterbacks. I used to watch Hurts in college when he played for Alabama. Then he went to Oklahoma. I didn't watch him when he played for Oklahoma. I watched him when he played for Alabama, and I remember he got benched, and then he came back. This man got benched and won the national championship. Came in and won that championship after Tayo got hurt. Now this man can win you games. A lot of people don't like Hurts because Hurts is not that Allen type slash Burrow type slash. We can go back in the day, Roethlisberger or Tom Brady as quarterback that or Peyton Manning that can you know no, he don't have to. He don't have to be. He's not like Lamar. Like Lamar Jackson won two MVPs and hasn't done anything ever since then. Allen won the MVP last year and didn't make the Super Bowl. Winning MVPs make you look great. I don't understand how you can't win an MVP and win a Super Bowl and be acknowledged. People still can't stand Hurts because Hurts is not doing what every other quarterback is doing. But he plays in the weak division. Listen, winning the New England Patriots never played in the weak division. Brady played in the weak division almost 20 years. Like, come on. He played in NFC East, in the AFC East. Like, I will take that division anytime. See, the Eagles played in one of the hardest divisions at one point. And yes, the division got a little bit like the New England Patriots division. Because your Dallas Cowboys are losing now. Dallas got blown out by Detroit. The Giants is not good, and Washington, they're just done for the season. Washington and the Giants and even Dallas is done for the season. The Eagles are the only ones who are going to win this division. And the only way they can win this division is they win out. They can still win. They can still win the NFC East. I mean, still win the NFC, but the Eagles have to win. And the Eagles got to get on their high horses. And I don't know what Sirianni's doing with this office coordinator. I don't know what he's going to do, but he got to do something because if the Eagles are not scoring any points, They scored 19 points. Like, come on. Like 19? Like your team's supposed to be high powered. Your offense supposed to be high powered. Your defense only wins when your defense when your offense plays well because they can hold them. Your defense is probably the best defense in football when they have a good offense behind them. You got a good running game, you can slow the game down. The Eagles can slow the game down with a good running game. But if the Eagles don't have a good running game, the Eagles can't slow the game down. So other teams are going to get good field position. You know, punt. Eagles having problems stopping punt returners. Um, Kickoffs. Eagles are doing good with that. But penalties, Eagles are killing themselves in penalties. I think the Eagles lead the league in penalties. No, I think Dallas leads the league in penalties, but I think the Eagles is up there in penalties. The Eagles, Eagles are getting turnovers, but when they get down in that money zone, the 20 yards, when they get the money zone, green zone, Eagles can't put no points on the board. They're getting field goals, and even Elliott's missing field goals. Eagles are not doing anything to put uh uh you know Devontae is not complaining about he probably will say a couple of things, but he knows when it's game time, he's out there playing. You know what I mean? And it's kind of upsetting to watch the way the Eagles are not playing, the offense that I wish they could play. I wish they could probably play a little bit of more spread. They could spread the defense. Get them out of stopping the run. You mean the only way you could stop a team from stopping the run is you spread them out. You could put four receivers, three receivers, tight end. You could motion them. You know what I mean? And you could put him as a receiver. You put them teams in zones. That's how you get the teams to stop. You can't stop the run with single back. Even and you're a single back. You got like four receivers spread out. You can't stop the run unless you play a 3-4, and because you'll have extra linebackers that actually can play the run. Then you could have extra safeties and corners. If they come down, they could probably come down and play the run. Everybody know about the 3-4 defense. Everybody know about the 3-4 defense back when the Pittsburgh Steelers used to play it. They used to stop the run because they used to bring them safeties down. And they had great tackling safeties like Palomalo, and they had some great corners that could tackle. You know what I mean? So they have some great linebackers. Also, defensive linemen too, and they can actually rush the quarterback. You know, and play the run. So, but the Eagles can take teams out of that because they got these fast receivers, fast running backs. You can't cover Barkley with a linebacker. You can't cover any you can't cover a tight end with a safety. You can't. I mean, if people say, "Well, today you can," yeah, you probably can because a lot of safeties are like built like tight ends right now. They got some, and these linebackers can run. But I'm saying if you just you get the team you get a team that you playing that could, the Eagles could actually play a one back set, spread the defense out, and run the football until you get the defense to say, okay, bet we can't allow them to do this. Let's start bringing our defense into a 3-4. Let's stop the run. So now you got man coverage. So that will leave man coverage. But you can't get see the Eagles cannot get any team out of stopping the run. Because if you start getting man coverage, Eagles, all teams are going to blitz because they're going to blitz Hurts all the time. Because you see, they blitz Hurts at least about I'd say 70% of the time because they don't really because the Eagles are not having any good blocking because Johnson's hurt with groin problems or foot problems. Dickerson's he's hurt. I mean you got Mulata, he's jumping off side, he's jumping, he's false starting, or he's holding, or he's getting confused sometimes with the playbook, and I don't know. It's still a long season left. It's only week 14, still a long season left, so the Eagles are still gonna make the playoffs. But I hope the Eagles, like I put that picture up of the Eagles, of the Bears getting sacked. I mean, Hurts is getting sacked by the Bears because that's the way the Eagles been playing all the time. Hurts been getting sacked a lot. I know Hurts is trying to stay in the pocket and try to do a lot in the pocket, but the old Hurts of last year, him breaking the pocket and running, I don't know if like I remember Andy Reid. Andy Reid did that to McNabb, and I know people don't like McNabb. Everybody hate McNabb, But McNabb used to run a lot, and he used to break the pocket, and he used to run. I think they took that from Hurts. I really think they tell like they did to Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham before Cunningham left with the Minnesota. No, I think no, when he retired, and then he went back to then he went to Minnesota where they asked him to come out of retirement. They stopped Randall Cunningham from running the ball, and I really think I think it was Rich Kotite or I think or it was Rich Kotite or it was Ray Rose. It was one of them, but he stopped running the football too. They tried to keep him in. That's why he got hurt. So for me to look at way they did McNabb, when McNabb got hurt all the times when he broke his foot and he tore his knee up. Well, people say he ran out of bounds. He was running out of bounds and he hurt himself. But you take it that he wasn't running as much. They're doing the same thing to Hurts. They're taking Hurts and say, you know what, Hurts, don't run that much. I mean, stay in the pocket. Prove that you're a pocket quarterback. That takes away talent. That's what they try to do to Jackson. They try to take. I seen Jackson started to run in the last the game that they lost. He was running. He started to run, and I'm like, see, you can't take talent away from players, man. You let what's the name from the you let you let Allen run. They're letting Knicks run. Um what's the name for the Bears run? They're letting them run, but they're not gonna let Hurts. Hurts is not even that old, and he's very strong. You let him do the tush push, right? But you won't let him like back up in the pocket break down. He can run for 10 yards. He can outrun everybody basically outrun everybody on the field. Hurts is physical. He's a big guy. He's about 6'1", and he's really solid muscle, so he can get where he wants to get. It's like players get hurt in the game. You're going to get hurt regardless of you're a pocket quarterback or you're a running quarterback. You're going to get hurt. So you're making all this money. You might as well you know I mean, you want to be a Hall of Famer. You want to be recognized as a great player one day. You might as well put your body on the line. You know what I mean? And that's what football to me is anyway. But the Eagles win the rest of their games. Eagles better go out there and be hardcore, man. Like they got to start smacking people in the mouth. They got to say, you know what? Let's start. Fuck this. We got Barkley. We're gonna run Barkley. But they got to run Barkley and stop running him like downhill. They got to start running him doing some outside runs or or some pro sets or some dives or something that they could put him in so the defense put a receiver, put an extra receiver. Why don't they play with three receivers? That's what I don't understand. The Eagles always play with a tight end. Why did they never play with three receivers? Do they have three receivers? Like I never see them play with three receivers. I see them play with three tight ends. They play with a tight end. They always play on Goddard. No, you need to get another receiver in there so you can get them to cover, or you can play with the receivers and you can play with the tight end. Because you want to I remember how when the Eagles played against New England Patriots when they beat them. I remember when the New England started to come back. Did you know that they used Gronkowski to run in the middle of the field to take the defense to double cover him, so they could leave one on ones to the running backs or get more Barkley running like doing some runs like to the sideline or do they do any screens? Like I haven't seen Eagles do any screens. Motion. They did a whole bunch of motion last year. They rarely do motion. That's why I'm saying they're one dimensional because they don't do any motion. They don't even see what the other defense is doing. Like when you do motion, you'll see that you can see what their coverage is, or you can get them out of their coverage. But they don't do that. Like they did that last year. Everything they did last year, they don't do this year because, like I said, they got a new office coordinator. So they're not going to try to do what they did last year. But basically, the running game hasn't changed because everybody knows that Barkley's going to get the ball, and they know to stack up the line of scrimmage and put everybody in a gap and just stop him. The Eagles can't fool nobody when Barkley's not running the football. Like if you give Barkley the ball, the first thing they're going to do is cut off the way he likes to run. He likes to run towards Johnson. Way Johnson's not there, so he has to find another gap to run. Or he likes to run between Dickerson or Mulata, but Mulata's getting stood up. Dickerson's getting started. He's not there. He's hurt. Steed is hurt. So they're putting a lot of. They're trying to put up these They're trying to fix these holes with band-aids, and you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to fix these holes with band-aids. Like, the Eagles have to just keep on trying to run. They have to keep on pushing the running game. Regardless of if the Eagles feels like they're not going to win, you know, the running game. You can't stop running the ball just because the other defense. Now I see it's the fourth quarter or near the end of the third quarter. Okay, you throw the ball, but if you still got time, you got first, second, then you got the third, the beginning of the third, or midway through the third. You keep running and try to run the football, even if they're stopping it, because you're gonna be like, okay, bet now we can start. Now you can say we could pass, but the Eagles will stop running the ball in the second quarter. Just because they can't get the running game going. Like, you can't stop running the ball because you can't get the run started. Because you got to get the defense to try to get in the man coverage. Like, even though or you got to get them the blitz. Like, if you get them the blitz, you can get that man coverage that you want, or you can bring that safety down. Or, I mean, you could bring in, like, I don't understand why they don't use different receiver packages to bring these safeties from playing two safeties deep, and they play man underneath that. Like, and they can play with their linebackers because there's a lot of scrimmage. Because if you put pressure on a quarterback like that, who you gonna throw the ball to? Because your tight end's not gonna be able. Because they like to throw the ball like towards the sideline all the time. And the Eagles really, I don't know what the middle of the field is like vacant. Like, I know sometimes Hurts throws the ball in the middle of the field, but it makes me mad sometimes when he doesn't throw the ball in the middle of the field. Like, he'll throw the ball to the sideline. Like, I'm like, is that your only protection? Like, these try to do some real routes. Have your running back run across, or your tight end run across, or have your receiver run across. But I don't know. The Eagles need to win tonight. If the Eagles win tonight, okay, they beat a good team. They're going to play the Rams right after that, so they have to win this game tonight because they play the West Coast. So, and next thing you know, they're going to be playing back in their division because they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play Washington again. So, because one more game in Washington, they play out. I think they stay out the West Coast. I think they play one more game in the Midwest. I think. Yeah, they play Pittsburgh, so they play out here. They play in the East too. They play Pittsburgh this year. So I think that the Eagles have to win tonight, and they got to win on national TV. Because if they don't win on that, if they lose on national TV, it's like media's gonna eat up this team, and I don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen regardless. So, bless to everybody. That's my first video I made. I'm sorry if I'm still looking kind of sickly because I lost a lot of weight. I was 236 pounds. Now I probably weigh at least probably 202 probably, or probably weigh less than that. I don't know. I was 198, no 196 when I got out of the hospital. So I'm happy that I lost weight. Helped my heart out. You know, hope I got rid of them blood clots. I'll be going to my doctor's appointment soon to see if I got rid of my blood clots. Get off this blood thinning medicine, and this medicine that's making me um I'm taking medicine that's making me go to the bathroom a lot. So bless to everybody. Go Eagles. Hope y'all win tonight. Bang. We here.